SpongeBob never told a lie, never missed a shift, never took a single penny that wasn't his. He was the most loyal employee Mr. Krabs had ever had. So when Bikini Bottom woke up to the greatest betrayal, nobody believed it was him, but it was. And this was the beginning of SpongeBob's success story. One day, the happiest, most hardworking sponge in the ocean looked around and saw the truth. For years, he had built someone else's empire, while he got nothing but a tiny paycheck and a wall of meaningless Employee of the Month photos. That day, he made a decision, a dangerous one, and Bikini Bottom was never the same again. It started as a whisper, a tiny nagging thought that refused to go away. What if I left? SpongeBob had never questioned his place before. The Krusty Krab was his life. Every morning, he woke up smiling, eager to tie his apron, ready to flip patties like an artist at his canvas. But then, one day, something changed. It was just another shift. The sizzle of the grill, the ding of the bell, the never-ending flood of customers. And then, it hit him. They weren't coming for the Krusty Krab, they were coming for him. His hands made those burgers. His recipes made them perfect. His passion made people happy. And the more he thought about it, the more he realized something that Mr. Krabs had spent years hiding from him. He didn't need the Krusty Krab. The Krusty Krab needed him. And if that was true, why was he still here, behind this grease-stained grill, making someone else rich? The thought terrified him. It also excited him. And that night, when the restaurant was dark and empty, SpongeBob made his decision. He stood in the kitchen, surrounded by everything he had built, and took a deep breath. His hands shook, his heart pounded, but he didn't hesitate. He reached for a single piece of paper, the Krabby Patty's secret formula. He took it. The next morning, Bikini Bottom woke up to something new. A tiny stall had popped up across the street. No signs, no grand opening, just a sponge, a grill, and a dream. Patty Paradise was open for business, and inside his office, Mr. Krabs sat at his desk, laughing. He thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. At first, Mr. Krabs wasn't worried. He saw the flashing neon lights of Patty Paradise across the street and scoffed. A tiny stall run by a fry cook with big dreams? Please. He had seen trends come and go. Customers always returned to what they knew. The Krusty Krab wasn't just a restaurant, it was tradition. It was home. Then the tables started going empty. At first, it was just a few open seats. Then lunch hour slowed. By the end of the first week, the once bustling Krusty Krab felt off. The energy had shifted, and by the second week, it was a ghost town. A single old fish sat in the corner, chewing on a soggy, lifeless patty, the only sign of life in a restaurant that used to be packed. Mr. Krabs gritted his teeth. This wasn't happening, but it was. And SpongeBob? He knew exactly why, because he hadn't just stolen the formula, he had stolen the customers. Why wouldn't they leave? Patty Paradise had everything. The same Krabby Patties, but bigger, juicier, customizable. Extra pickles? No problem. No bun? Sure. A veggie option for the health-conscious fish? Done. But it wasn't just the food, it was the experience. At the Krusty Krab, customers got greasy tables, Squidward's dead-eyed stare, and the constant sound of Mr. Krabs counting money. At Patty Paradise, they got vibrant decor, a cheerful staff, live jellyfish light shows, and most importantly, SpongeBob himself bouncing from table to table, making people feel special. The Krusty Krab hadn't just lost business, it had lost its heart. Mr. Krabs panicked. He had to evolve. He had to fight back. So he did something no one ever thought they'd see. He gave Squidward a promotion, a triple raise, more vacation days, even a seat on the so-called Board of Advisors, which didn't actually exist. For the first time in history, Squidward was the highest paid employee at the Krusty Krab, and he hated it. Cooking was never his thing. He tried, at least at first. He flipped a patty with the grace of an artist, but when it hit the bun, it lacked something. It lacked soul. Squidward could follow the recipe, he could copy the technique, but he couldn't be SpongeBob. The complaints piled up. The leftover customers wanted more than just a patty. They wanted an experience. And Squidward? He gave up faster than ever before. Mr. Krabs' first gamble failed, but he had one last trick up his sleeve. If the Krusty Krab was outdated, it needed reinvention. So he handed the keys to Pearl. She transformed it into a teen hotspot overnight. The grease-stained walls were replaced with pop star posters. The sea shanty music was swapped looked for bubblegum pop anthems, and for a brief moment, it worked. Teen fish flooded in, taking selfies in the Krusty Krab mirror, posting about the retro diner vibes, and buying overpriced glitter-covered meal combos that were exactly the same as before, just in shinier packaging. But Pearl made one fatal mistake. She fired Squidward. Without Squidward, without SpongeBob, without an actual trained staff, the Krusty Krab became a disaster. Orders got mixed up, food quality plummeted, and worst of all, Mr. Krabs, desperate as he was, refused to spend a single penny on proper training. Then it happened. 2 months after Patty Paradise opened, the Krusty Krab closed its doors for good. Bikini Bottom was in shock, but SpongeBob, he was just getting started. Patty Paradise wasn't just a success, it was a phenomenon, the fastest growing restaurant in Bikini Bottom history. Lines stretched around the block, customers waited hours just for a taste. But soon, one location wasn't enough. SpongeBob had to expand. The first move was simple, a second restaurant in Rock Bottom. The deep-sea residents, used to vending machine sludge, had never tasted food this good. Patty Paradise became a beacon of light in the darkest part of the ocean. The third location, Goo Lagoon, a beachfront patty paradise, offering kelp shakes and seaweed wraps for the health-conscious gym buffs. Then came the fourth, Jellyfish Fields, where customers could dine surrounded by floating jellyfish glowing softly in the water. Then 10 locations, then 20, then the impossible. SpongeBob took a gamble. He broke the ocean barrier. He opened Patty Paradise on land. It was risky. Could land dwellers even eat underwater food? Would the flavors translate? Would humans accept a sponge running a restaurant? Yes. Bikini Bottom exported sea salt infused ingredients to land. They modified the patties, they adapted to human tastes, and the moment the first Patty Paradise opened above water, it was chaos. Humans went insane for it. The media called it the most unique dining experience in history. Celebrities rushed in to try the mysterious ocean-born cuisine. Patty Paradise wasn't just a restaurant anymore. It was a cultural movement. SpongeBob wasn't just a fry cook anymore. He was a billionaire. And while SpongeBob was living the dream, somewhere across the street in a small abandoned restaurant, a certain red crab sat alone. The Krusty Krab was gone. The customers were gone. The money was gone. And for the first time in his life, Mr. Krabs didn't see it coming. All those years of hoarding, scheming, and chasing wealth, and he had been blind to the biggest threat of all. Not Plankton, not competition, his own fry cook. And so, for the first time in his greedy, money-obsessed life, Mr. Krabs did something desperate. A knock echoed through the empty chum bucket. Inside, Plankton sat in the same place he always did, alone, slumped in his chair, staring at yet another failed marketing campaign. A sign out front read, "Try the Chum Burger, now with less chum." No one bought it. No one ever would. When Mr. Krabs stepped inside, Plankton didn't even bother looking up. "If you're here to rub it in, Krabs, go ahead. I'm used to failure." But Mr. Krabs didn't gloat. Instead, he cleared his throat and said something Plankton never expected. "I ain't here to mock you, Plankton. I'm here to make you rich." Plankton's one robotic eye narrowed. He straightened in his chair, suddenly interested. "Oh, this is gonna be good." Then Mr. Krabs said the unthinkable. "We're going into business." Plankton almost fell out of his chair. "You? Working with me? You must be desperate." "Desperate? I'm ruined. My restaurant is gone, my money is drying up, and worst of all," he clenched his fists, eyes twitching with pure rage,
"that yellow square is richer than both of us combined."
Plankton shuddered. He had spent his entire life trying to take down Krabs, and SpongeBob had done it in 6 months. For the first time ever, they weren't enemies. They were two failures with one common goal. The Krusty Krab was dead. The Chum Bucket was a joke. But together, they could build something new. Something big. They called it the Chum Crab. The day the Chum Crab opened, SpongeBob barely blinked. Across the street, a massive 2-story restaurant gleamed, its neon signs flashing. Krabby Patties now better than ever. He had seen Mr. Krabs pull this stunt before. A new sauce, a deluxe meal, a burger with extra cheese, it never lasted. The customers always came back. But this time was different, because for the first time in history, the Chum Crab actually worked. Mr. Krabs knew the Krabby Patty formula by heart. Plankton had the technology. Together, they built a factory-style kitchen where Plankton's robots assembled flawless Krabby Patties in seconds. Patty Paradise was built on heart, passion, and personal touch. The Chum Crab was built on speed and efficiency, and for the first time ever, SpongeBob had real competition. The war wasn't gradual. It was immediate. Overnight, billboards flooded Bikini Bottom, boasting, "Why wait in long lines? The Chum Crab serves you in seconds." Ads played on every TV, showing sleek robotic chefs flipping patties with machine machine precision. And worst of all, they offered a 50% discount to any customer switching from Patty Paradise. It worked. The lines at Patty Paradise shrunk. Customers were choosing the Chum Crab. SpongeBob was losing. But he wasn't about to go down without a fight. If the Chum Crab was winning on speed, Patty Paradise would win on quality. SpongeBob expanded the menu. Kelp wraps, grilled seaweed, gourmet patty options. Every meal was handcrafted. Every bite was an experience. But he knew he needed more. He needed something bigger. Then he played his trump card, the Golden Krabby Patty, a legendary ultra-rare item. Only 10 made per day. Hand-selected, aged sea cheese. Triple-filtered ocean sauce. A patty so exclusive that getting one wasn't just a meal, it was a status symbol. The Chum Crab had fast food. Patty Paradise had luxury. Both restaurants were neck and neck. The war had no clear winner. Then, Plankton made his fatal mistake. He had the Krabby Patty formula, but he was still Plankton. He couldn't resist. He had to tamper with it. Customers at the Chum Crab started feeling off. It started small, a little nausea, a slight greenish tint to their skin. Then the rumors started.
I heard the Chum Crab is using fake ingredients. Did you see that fish turn purple after eating one? Plankton's up to something. I just know it.
Health inspectors took notice. The truth came out. Plankton had been sneaking in his own special ingredients, trying to enhance the formula. Mr. Krabs lost it. He chased Plankton out of the restaurant, screaming, "You ruined my business for the last time, you microscopic menace." The Chum Crab was done. Patty Paradise had won. SpongeBob had defeated both his old boss and his old enemy in a single battle. And as he stood there, watching the Chum Crab's doors close forever, he realized something. This wasn't just a victory, this was an empire. Patty Paradise was stronger than ever, with no competition left. SpongeBob's empire exploded. The restaurant wasn't just a place to eat anymore. It became a movement, a lifestyle, a cultural shift. Bikini Bottom had changed forever. Everywhere you looked, there was Patty Paradise. It wasn't just about food. Schools started offering cooking classes based on SpongeBob's techniques. Businesses adopted his philosophy of customer service. Even Sandy Cheeks got involved, using science to optimize patty making efficiency, developing new grilling technologies and sustainable kelp farms to meet demand. And it didn't stop in Bikini Bottom. Patty Paradise was now a global franchise. Before long, SpongeBob was everywhere. The success wasn't just about food anymore. SpongeBob became a brand. Merchandise from Patty Paradise aprons and spatulas to Krabby Patty plushies. It was unstoppable. At its peak, SpongeBob was richer than Mr. Krabs had ever been. And yet, something felt off. Because, for the first time in his life, SpongeBob wasn't happy. The days blurred together. Meetings, interviews, restaurant openings, media appearances. Everyone wanted a piece of him. The billionaire sponge. The fry cook turned mogul. The king of fast food. He had everything he had ever dreamed of. And yet, something was missing. SpongeBob's new home wasn't just a pineapple anymore. It was a massive mansion, a luxurious modern estate with a private beach, a personal gym, and a high-tech kitchen. And yet, it was silent. No Patrick knocking on the door, no Gary meowing for food, no Squidward yelling next door. Just emptiness. He didn't even realize when things had changed. At some point, Patrick stopped visiting. Squidward had moved away. Sandy was just focused on working. His old life was gone. One night, with a rare evening off, no cameras, no meetings, no business calls, SpongeBob took a walk. He wandered through Bikini Bottom, past the neon glow of Patty Paradise, past the tourists snapping pictures, past the eager customers waiting in line. He kept walking, not thinking, not knowing where he was going, until he stopped. He was standing in front of the Krusty Krab, or what was left of it. The building was abandoned and cold. The once bright K on the sign had fallen off, leaving it as the Rusty Krab. The place where he had spent years of his life was now a forgotten relic. He stepped inside. It still smelled like grease and nostalgia. The tables were dusty, the kitchen was lifeless, and suddenly, SpongeBob felt something he hadn't felt in years. Sadness. Because no matter how many locations he opened, no matter how successful he became, this was where it all started. And he missed it. He missed the simplicity. He missed Squidward's grumbling. He missed Patrick showing up and ordering food with no money. He missed flipping patties because he loved it. The next morning, SpongeBob did something no one saw coming. He resigned. He handed the Patty Paradise empire to his top managers. And then he did the unthinkable. He reopened the Krusty Krab. No neon lights, no holographic menus, no corporate nonsense. Just a small, simple restaurant with a grill, a spatula, and a fry cook who finally remembered why he started. That morning, for the first time in years, SpongeBob flipped a Krabby Patty with a smile. And for the first time in years, he was happy. Word spread fast. The original Krusty Krab was back. No franchise, prizes, no gimmicks, no celebrity endorsements, just a sponge, a grill, and a dream. At first, people thought it was a publicity stunt, that SpongeBob would get bored and return to his billion-dollar empire. But as the days passed, something became clear. He wasn't going anywhere, and then, one by one, the people from his old life started coming back. Patrick was the first to show up. He waddled inside, eyes wide. SpongeBob? His voice was uncertain, almost hopeful. SpongeBob turned from the grill and grinned. "Hey, Pat, the usual?" Patrick's face lit up, with extra pickles. The next day, Sandy walked in. She had been so busy with her research that she had barely noticed SpongeBob had disappeared into the corporate world. But here he was, back where he belonged. Then came Squidward. At first, he just stood outside, arms crossed, staring at the now open sign. SpongeBob caught him through the window. "You gonna come in, or are you just gonna critique my signage?" Squidward sighed. "I was hoping this place would stay closed forever." And yet, he walked in anyway. He ordered a Krabby Patty, and as much as he hated to admit it, it tasted better than anything from Patty Paradise. Bikini Bottom celebrated SpongeBob's return, but the biggest surprise? Mr. Krabs. One evening, long after closing time, SpongeBob heard a knock at the door. He turned and saw a familiar red claw tapping against the glass. Mr. Krabs stood outside, looking older, tired, humbled. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then SpongeBob unlocked the door. "Come in," he said softly. Mr. Krabs walked inside, looked around, ran his claws across the old wooden counter. He took a deep breath. "You did good, boy," he finally muttered. "Better than I ever did." SpongeBob smiled. "You want a patty?" Mr. Krabs chuckled. "Yes, but I'm not paying for it." SpongeBob laughed and fired up the grill. For the first time in forever, things felt right. Not because he was rich, not because he was famous, but because he was home. And that's how it all came full circle. SpongeBob built an empire, won the battle, and changed the food industry forever. But in the end, what made him happiest was right where he started. So SpongeBob could not have thrived as a business mogul, because he's just built that way. But what if SpongeBob never met Squidward? Would that change things? If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Until next time, take care and stay tuned.